There are a lot of things in my life that I am excited about and that I am very passionate about doing, but there are only a few things that I can do 12 to 15 hours nonstop for months. Every day, wake up, start doing it immediately, go to sleep watching videos on how to get better at doing it. There's not many things that are like that. But 5 years ago, I had something like that just, it took up every part of my brain, and it is all that I thought about for months. I've never sat down and just made a video talking about from start to finish how I got started and why I basically quit. I hate to say that, but why I quit doing it. So this is just kind of explaining everything. But first, if you have a passion like me that you want to cultivate, or maybe you're trying to find one, there's no better place than the inspiring online learning community, Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to click the link in my description are going to get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. It's incredible. More on that later. So 5 years ago, time does fly, doesn't it? How old was I then? I remember exactly where I was when just this light clicked in my head of I will do this. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how long it is going to take me, what I have to buy. I'm going to do this. I was 100% committed. I somehow came across a YouTube channel of a guy who was step by step showing you how to animate this story. But there was no beginning to the story and there was no end to the story. There was just the middle part. And he was encouraging you to follow along and animate it with him. But then, on your own, make the beginning and ending to complete the story. That was, for some reason, the most addicting thing I have ever watched in my life. Imagine your favorite show and you can't put it down. And it's like, what time is it? How long? I've been doing this for like, how many hours now? That was me. I couldn't put it down. I don't know why. I don't know why. But that was the most addicted I have ever been to anything on YouTube in my life. I didn't even have the program, all right? And I watched the entire, and this was a long series. I watched the entire thing without having the program. So I bought the program eventually and was like, man, let's watch it again. So I started from the beginning and I watched it again. And I knew basically how to use the program before I even had it because I had watched the entire thing already. It was weird. It was like somebody explaining exactly how to use a hammer and you've never swung one before and then picking it up and it was like, oh, right, this is how you do it. I have never had a program on a computer in my life that I was like that with other than this one. And I was like, man, like, I don't know, maybe I'm like okay at this. It was pretty exciting. So I spent hours and days. I barely slept. It was so just everything in my brain was completely wired to doing this. It never stopped. It was a continuous YouTube video for like weeks. So in a relatively short amount of time, I had it. I had it done, and I just had to add my part to the beginning and end. I had this epiphany. I want to make an entire episode for Blimey Cow, my other channel, and I want to create Big Head Kid as one of the characters in the show. And so I had done a lot of work, but I had taken the character that the guy had designed in the tutorial and I deleted him and then I created my own character, Big Head Kid, and I put him in the story and just kind of pieced it together, created an intro, and made the finishing like sequence, and then voila, it was done. And I was so proud of this. I showed all my friends and my family and I was like, dude, and they were like, man, this is crazy. And it wasn't like they were being nice or anything. It was like, wow, it's really cool that in a short amount of time, Jordan was able to go from knowing nothing about animation, basically not even knowing that it was a thing that he could do, to having an entire episode done. And they didn't even know that I was really learning, you know what I mean? Like my family did, but nobody else did. So it was just this kind of amazement, you know what I mean? So we were like, look, we gotta put this out. It's awesome that this is like a possibility of something that we could do. And so we called it Blimey Cowtoons. So original. It was actually kind of clever. I was like, man, everyone is gonna just absolutely love this. How could they not? I made it, you know what I mean? And as the comments were rolling in, you know, there was enough negative comments that I was like, oh, okay, I got it. This isn't like this. I'm actually not like very good at this. I get it. I don't know how to say this and like, look, there were like a lot of positive comments, but there were like, for us, there was like an abnormal amount of like people that were saying I'm not gonna watch this, you know? And that was fine. It was just, I don't know how to say this without it sounding like mean, but I had this epiphany about viewers on YouTube and some of the people who followed us. When you have an excitement and you show that excitement and this new skill that you learned to your family and your close friends, that is very, very, very different than showing your first creation and your excitement to complete strangers online. Even if they follow you and you feel like there's like that relationship, it's not the same. And it can't really be the same. And that was, I guess what I'm trying to say is the amazement that my family had that, wow, Jordan can animate. That amazement wasn't there with other people that I didn't know. And so that didn't like skew their view of the quality of the content. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. There was not like this glistening gloss of this is amazing that Jordan did this. It was just, this is just not even an average cartoon. And that was the epiphany that I had. I didn't like dwell on that, but it was disappointing. Not many times have I put something out and then it was just like this slap in the face of, here's the reality of what people think about it. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty discouraging, but it didn't discourage me enough to stop doing it. So let's put it that way. I still had the joy and the excitement of animating, and I just wanted to get better at it. I used that discouragement to motivate me to continue getting better, because I wanted to show people, look, okay, maybe that one wasn't the greatest thing of all time, but like I want to get better at this and I want to make it something quality for people out there to enjoy. So at this point, it was almost Christmas time and we were like, hey, let's do an animated Christmas special. Now this wasn't going to be like a little small cartoon. This was going to be like a 6.5 minute long animation basically. And that was quite an undertaking. I mean, think about having to animate something that's 6.5 minutes long, where it's like a bunch of characters and they're all interacting with each other, and it takes a long time, particularly when you're brand new to this. It takes forever. So my brother wrote the script for it, gave it to me, and then I animated everything around it, and we did the voices. We even got some people to help us do like the music for it and stuff, and it took so long. It was incredible how long that took. But man, like those are just some of my favorite memories, just staying up super late and just working on it. I mean, again, I worked on this for like 12 to 15 hours a day. I am not kidding you. I didn't stop, and I had a deadline. It had to be out by Christmas, and the date was coming up, and I was leaving to go to Florida to visit family. And I was actually, as we were driving away, my brother called me and was like, hey, I need this one other thing. So we went back, I jumped out of the car, ran in, re-rendered like a whole scene, sent it to him, and then hopped back in the car, and we drove 15 hours to go visit my family. I got there, and I saw that it went live. And I don't even think I was the first to see my own animation. I think it was just posted. My brother like put the clips together, and then he put the music that the people had given us, he put it in there. And I was just amazed, man, at what we had accomplished. Like, we went from not knowing how to do anything 4 months later, and we had done like a 6.5 minute animated special with all of our characters from Blimey Cow animated. It was so much more difficult animating that than the original animation that I did. There was so much more dialogue.
Did someone say life of the party?
Big Head Kid, what are you doing here?
I heard the party from next door and figured I'd see what was going on. Is there any food?
There was like more of a story. There was so much more interaction. I learned such an incredible amount in that amount of time. And looking back, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I actually am impressed with what I accomplished. And the comments started rolling in, and they were a lot more positive than the original episode. I think it was Big Head Kid and the Alien. I had some aspirations, a lot of aspirations actually, of making an entire series of like a continuous story with episodes. Maybe make like a kid show or something. That was kind of like my big idea, like my big dream. I just stopped, and I hate so much that I stopped. And I honestly burnt myself out doing it nonstop for months, that by the time I had gotten back to it, you know, it was hard to kind of get all of those thoughts that were like consolidated into like one unit before. Now it felt like everything was kind of scattered out, and it was like, oh, I gotta try and grab all that stuff and put it back in place and back in my mind. I never continued with it, even though on my laptop to this day I still have entire scenes. I literally wrote out an entire script myself. I had made all the characters. I had this whole... It's amazing to me how constructive and destructive time can be on your passions and your dreams. It can build up. I mean, time can just seem unlimited when you are so excited about something. And then when you kind of give it up for a little while, it's amazing how much time it just pounds and pounds and just breaks apart what you had, and you got to try and get the pieces back together and form it into something again, so that it's like, oh yeah, I'm ready to do this again. I kind of have the fatal flaw of just going 1,000,000% at something, 1,000,000% nonstop, to where I just burn myself out. And then I have other interests that I'm interested in, and I follow those, and then at some point it's like, oh right, animation, I really want to do that again. And then I go back and sit at it and look at it, and it's just, there's that, you know, it's not this flow, it's like there's a break. It's like hitting a wall, and it's like, all right, you got to get past that push of, I just do it, because you will get that excitement again for doing it 100%. You just have to get through that initial push. So am I ever going to do animation again and actually finish those files that are on my computer and do that episode? Honestly, right now I've actually been watching animation tutorials on Skillshare that have really been helping, for lack of a better metaphor, fan the flame within me to continue just doing what I know I love doing so much and just get past that push. Honestly, I do not think that there is any better place to go to get excited about learning than Skillshare. That's why I'm so excited that Skillshare wanted to sponsor this episode, because for me, I mean, it is super helpful, and I know for a fact that it will help you. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people like yourself. They have so many classes, and I get so excited about learning and just different hobbies and things I've never thought about before that I just find myself scrolling and just looking at all their different courses and classes. It is such a blast. I just love exploring on there, and wherever my interests take me, that's where I end up. And right now, I keep coming back to animation. The course I'm currently enjoying is Animation for Illustration, Creating Layered GIFs with Photoshop and After Effects by Abby Lawson. I love this class so much because she gives so many just really insightful tips and tricks on animation that I can use in my animating ventures. It's also cool to learn more about After Effects because that's something that I want to become fluent in. And if you want to be more involved with the subject that you're interested in, whether creative writing, illustration, photography, they literally have everything. Skillshare also allows you to connect with the support of fellow creatives. They allow you to enter a community that will encourage and inspire you. I feel like that support group is what I was missing when I was just alone in my room animating for hours on end, you know? If you're interested, the first 1,000 people to use my link down in the description below are going to receive a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. And after that, it's only around around 10 bucks a month. You have an opportunity to, for free, build that passion and support my channel in the process. And I am so thankful to everybody who clicked the link down in the description, because you are 100% supporting me and this channel. So thank you so much, and I want to go start animating. I'm inspiring myself. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.